Welcome, sports fans. What's going on, y'all? This is me, your boy Larry B, bringing it to you here live on a beautiful April evening. It is April 24th. Beautiful Saturday, y'all. I was about to say Friday, but it's a Saturday evening, and this is our brand new time here on the Sports Couple Perspective. Once again, y'all, what's going on? It's me, your boy Larry B, bringing it to you here, joined by the beautiful Cecilia. How's it going tonight, babe?
Hello. Pretty good.
It is going to be a fun one as we get excited for another great show here tonight. We are going to be talking about an upcoming event we all know as the NFL Draft, the 2021 NFL Draft to be precise, as we get ready and set Thursday night. It all goes down, and you wouldn't believe it. This week's movie of the week, Draft Day, starring Kevin Costner and Jennifer Garner. Awesome movie. Cecilia actually kind of liked it too.
Yeah, it was okay. It was pretty good.
Well, we'll be talking about that film and the process. We won't be talking draft picks or anything like that. We're talking about the process of the draft and what it really is. Pretty fun. And then, of course, we are talking about the issue of the week. We'll be joined by Mr. Andrew Haganbaugh in just a few moments here as we get ready and set to talk about, and I am going to say this very, very strongly, we'll be talking about the debacle that was the European Super this last week. My goodness, if that wasn't a debacle, I don't know what was. Because that's exactly what that league was. I'm glad it's gone, or quote-unquote gone. And, well, it's gonna be another great show here, y'all. So with that said, be excited, be ready to rock and roll, because we are coming your way. Ladies and gentlemen, you're officially tuned in live to the Sports Couples Perspective right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome yet again, sports fans. Here we go. We are ready and raring for another episode tonight. Episode 12, babe, with a Sports Couple Perspective. How you feel about that?
Pretty good.
We're rolling, y'all. May not be every week consistently, but we're doing our best. Big plans for us, big news for us, of course, coming up in the coming weeks. So, you'll know there's a lot going on, a lot of great things in our life, and it's just going great, but no spoilers just yet. And, yeah. With that said, we will definitely keep you all posted on these awesome things. And, let you in on our big news coming up. But, that's why we've been a little absent here. But, to continue this awesome podcast, we are bringing it to you live this Saturday evening. Hopefully you are enjoying yourselves wherever you are in the world. If you're listening to the podcast version, if you're listening live here tonight, jump in the chat room, say hello. Shows, so hopefully you're all ready to rock and roll. It'll be a fun one. With that said, how about this week? My beautiful, very soon-to-be fiance just started a brand new job. She is I'm very excited to become a preschool teacher. Can we show her some love? Babe, how you feeling about that preschool teacher position?
This week was my first. It has been a little rough, but I am looking forward to setting and working with the children. Hopefully that, I catch on very fast and it runs smoothly.
Same here. It continues to unravel in a good way. And sorry if it's a little bit choppy there, sports fans. I know I really gotta get a new laptop. But yeah, so she started as preschool teacher. I'm back now, almost full time. In high school and considering being a full time teacher now, and just so many cool things, guys, coming our way. So really excited, and we are very, very, very excited for all these awesome things. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are talking about and I seriously mean that in every aspect, a debacle that was the English Super League. That just happened this last past weekend, and it's pretty much gone. It fell apart in days, because UEFA and FIFA don't play that. That's all there is. And to help us talk about that here tonight, we have a dear friend of ours, and of course, IE Sports Radio's own, ladies and gentlemen, he is the host of the Soccer Scoreboard Show here on IE Sports Radio. Catch him tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific Time. Everybody over here on the West Coast and everyone over there in Ohio, where he's from. And, of course, on the East Coast, catch him at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, the host of the State of Ohio Sports. Awesome show there every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. You can catch Andrew Haganbaugh. He, of course, is an avid soccer fan, a soccer player since he was little, and the guy's still playing semi-pro soccer. The guy is about as awesome as it gets. I'm glad and blessed to have him here tonight. Well, both of us, Cecilia and I, are glad and blessed to have him here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcoming Mr. Andrew Haganbaugh. What's going on, Andrew? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing fantastic. Hope you guys are doing well today, too.
Thank you, sir. We're doing our very best. Thank you for joining us. It's 10:38 your time right now, and you're on the show. That's a trooper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what they...
I'll be up for a while, trust me.
Crazy guy. Crazy guy. It's okay, though. We're pretty crazy ourselves. So. Andrew, you're going to be with us for about the next 15-20 minutes talking about the ESL, or what was the European Soccer League. So for anybody who doesn't know, of course, Andrew talked about it last week a little bit and said how a horrible idea, or what a horrible idea it was. Of course, it wasn't as big and blown out as it was the day after he got on, and tomorrow, I cannot wait to listen to the Soccer Scoreboard Show because Andrew told us in the IE Sports Radio group that he would seriously make like a 30-minute rant video and post it if he could, if it would fit on Twitter. Okay, so yeah, he's somebody who is very against it. Much like myself. And it's pretty cool because Cecilia, of course, becoming a sports fan, I was explaining to her earlier today, and I love it because her perspective is so cool because she's not necessarily a diehard, as a lot of you know, but she's getting into sports, she's becoming a bigger sports fan, and it's really cool because I explained to her first what it was, and actually she wasn't against it at all. And then we called Andrew, and we were talking to him, and he started to explain the money. And, well, I think her perspective changed a lot. But we had to invite Andrew here on the show tonight with us. So, long story short, Cecilia will definitely tell you that I'm bad at long stories short.
Yes. He elaborates no matter what.
I'm sorry. But with that said, y'all, I'm going to try and sum this up. So I tried to break it down to her because she does, of course, love baseball. Her and myself are Dodger fans, and we support the Angels and Padres, of course, all of our Southern California teams, not the Indians. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Not the Reds. I'm just kidding. We're just kidding, Andrew. Those are his Ohio teams over there.
I despise the Reds, so you're all good.
Well, with that said, man. Well, with that said, everybody, of course, a little recap of the ESL, or the European Soccer League. This past weekend, homeboy who owns Real Madrid, of course, Andrew will tell you all about this and give you the names. I'm going to give you the Diet Coke version, the fun version. Just kidding. I'm going to give you the funny version, I guess. Andrew will fill you in on the real deal. But homeboy thought it'd be cool to, gather all the top teams in Europe and make one big league, pull out of their domestic leagues and pull out of the UEFA Champions League and make one big league that is very Americanized with the playoff system and everything because, hey, it's more competition, but more than anything, it's a money grab. Yeah, they love money and they want to, well, who doesn't want money, which is unfortunate the way this world works, which I'm a proud capitalist, proud American, but at the end of the day, Cecilia and myself both believe that money doesn't buy happiness, and I'm pretty sure you can agree, right, Andrew?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
So, yeah, brother. So, with that said, let's go ahead and get through this real quick. So, basically, see, I'm not good at long story short. Cecilia's already looking at me like, see. But, trust me, you guys, I'm tried. So, it's not very fun when, one owner is like, we should just make this thing competitive and, forget our domestic leagues. We don't need that nonsense. And let's just try to do our thing and, make something better. And, of course, make more money. Hey, on the side, little air quotes, make more money. The fine print on the bottom of the paper, make more money. And I guess burped. So, I guess, but I gotta tell you guys, that was pretty funny what happened this week. And I'm sorry to say it that way, but that thing fell apart faster than my Raiders in the third quarter. This is usually when they fall apart, so sorry. But, yeah, I'll tell you right now, this organization never got off the ground. Andrew tells me it's actually still kicking and screaming, but it's just, I don't think it's going to work. So, what happens is, they all get together and form their cute little league of like 15 teams. They're trying to get a couple more. Some of the big teams around, of course, the world turned it down. PSG, of course, turned it down from France. The German, all of the teams in the Bundesliga turned it down. I believe they invited Dortmund and Munich, and I think they actually, I don't know if they invited Mönchengladbach, but regardless, or maybe they invited the Red Bulls, I don't know. But regardless, they invited some people, and they turned them down because they were like, yeah, we don't want none of that. And there's a reason why they didn't want none of that. Because it turned into, like I said, a complete debacle. So, the UEFA speaks about it, telling that you heard words like betrayal and just greed, and yeah, I heard some very nasty comments about this, and I was trying to figure out what the heck happened, and the UEFA declared war on these 6 teams. Well, I guess it was 6 originally. I don't know, Andrew will tell you the fine point. But anyway, so this whole thing turns into a complete debacle, and guess what? It fell completely apart. A lot of teams pulled out, and as far as I'm concerned, Andrew was telling me earlier that there's only 2, which, I mean, go figure. Real Madrid, the owner, was the one who started this thing, and I guess, their bitter rivals, Barcelona, was like, hey, well, I guess we can hang out with you and try to make things happen, but yeah, every other team has pretty much pulled out, and it's kind of gone completely haywire, and yeah. So, how I try to explain it to Cecilia, or any of the other fans out there listening who aren't sports fans, but listen to the show because they like learning sports alongside Cecilia, because it's true, I love it, I love her opinions, and it's awesome, they love learning these sports, it's like a beginner sports show, but it's really cool because it's really, really fun perspectives. So, hence the sports couple perspective. But I'll tell you guys, it would be like this. Okay, let's Americanize this real fast. I mean, it is very American because the owner of J.P. Morgan, of course, was funding this and making a playoff system. Very un-European, a playoff system that would go with the league. But very simple. I explained it to her because, as I mentioned earlier, she's a baseball fan. Of course, so am I. So I said the Dodgers, the Astros, the Red Sox, and the Yankees win every year, like the European leagues, where they just dominate everybody. And the Cuban, there's a Cuban league, and those 4 teams dominate. And there's a Brazilian league, and a Colombian league, and a Venezuelan league, and a Mexican league, and all these teams. Okay, there's just a bunch of teams that dominate in these little domestic leagues, and they're the only ones who dominate. There's no cap, so they can spend all the money they want to, and they dominate every year. And then there's a tournament that goes on, and then baseball is only played on the weekend. And during the week of the actual baseball season, it is they're played where they all play like a round robin, or like play the pool stage, if you will, the group stages. Then they play the knockout style tournament, and then there's a champion claimed there. And like I said, like let's say the Dodgers played against the best team in I don't know, Brazil, or they played the best team there. Well, guess what? Yay, that's cool, but then, out of nowhere, the owner of the Dodgers was like, you know what, I'm just going to call all the top teams around the countries and just be like, you know what, forget that tournament and forget the MLB. We're, all of us, the Red Sox, Astros, and the Yankees, and us, the Dodgers, are going to pull out the MLB, and we want you guys to come out with us and not play in that stupid tournament no more. Also, that we play in every year, because we know one of us is going to dominate, and when we play each other, it's usually great, and the fans are going to want that, so we're just going to, pull out of all of our domestic leagues, pull out of that UEFA league, and make our own thing, and do our own thing, and make tons of money. So, that's pretty much it. Now, to explain that much, 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 much more better, Andrew, could you please tell us the actual story now? Probably a lot shorter than I can.
So, like you said, it was pretty much the day I did my show last week. And obviously, at that point, it was just a tiny baby and nobody. So, my understanding from all the articles that I read, all this happened completely under the table. There's 12 original teams. There's supposed to be 15, but like you said, Dortmund, Bayern, and PSG have all said no, as well as RB Leipzig of German league as well have said no. And the 12 teams included the Big Six from England: Arsenal, Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City, Man United. And it included the 3 big Italian teams: Juventus, AC, and Inter Milan. And then it included the 3 big teams in Spain, both Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid. So those were the 12 original teams. And they all talked, and all of this was under the table. It happened during the night when pretty much everyone was sleeping and stuff like that. So no managers knew, no players knew. Even the other club owners had no idea. It was just the main owners talking and completely slid it under the table. The next day, everyone wakes up and there's just absolute chaos, like Monday morning. And the world's talking about. Everyone's like, what's happened? There's a Super League now? Like, what's going on? When did this count? You know, it all happened so quickly. And it threw me off, everybody off. And we're like, what is going on here? So now there's 12 teams, and they've all agreed to do the Super League. And as the days go on, like, people are talking about it on YouTube, making videos and stuff like that, just raving on the league, like, this is crap, this is greed, this, all this and that. And, you know, many people were Florentino Perez, the co-owner of Real Madrid, Joel Glazer, who is co-owner of Man United and also Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I'm sure you know who that is, Larry B, Mr. Joel Glazer. And J.W. Henry of Liverpool was also another person who was heavily involved in this and wanted this to happen. And they all got together and created this league. And as you said, it was more or less, how can we make the most money? And like, a lot of people think that they did this because of debt. Because a lot of these clubs that I just named are millions upon millions upon absolute millions in debt. And what's the best way to get out of debt? Well, let's look at what the NFL is doing. Let's look what the MLB is doing. Let's look at what, you know, these American sports are doing. There's no relegation. There's no promotion. There's no revenue loss if you get relegated. There's no, you know, parachute payments if you get relegated. There's none of this. There's none of that. You get a certain amount of money for wherever you come, and obviously there would be no draft picks in soccer besides the MLS, but, you know, teams in America get draft picks of where they place. And the whole concept of the Super League was, well, there's 20 teams like the Premier League and like all the other leagues around the European soccer and pretty much the world besides the United States. We're going to make these 20 teams. There's going to be 15 original teams and then 5 qualifiers. So 5 teams who qualify to the Super League, and then those are the Super League teams. And wherever you come in, you make the same amount of money as everyone else. There's, like Larry said, there's no cap, no nothing. And it benefits a lot of those teams. But here's where the kicker comes in. This absolutely ruins the other teams in Europe. Why? Because not only do you have to figure out how to replace those teams, because now they're kicked out of their league, the Champions League, everything, you have to replace those teams. And not only that, too, a lot of money from those leagues go into the Super League. So now, even like a 10th tier team in England is losing a lot of money to help with this league and basically pay for this league. And a lot of these teams can go financially under and be done for good. And, you know, it can financially ruin a lot of these teams outside of the Super League. And that's where a lot of the fans are just absolutely pissed off about, and rightfully so. And from the inside out, it's intentionally destroying soccer, but the Super League gets all the benefits. And all the fans were upset, and, you know, owners are starting to realize, oh, shoot, this is probably not the best idea, because everything can go down, especially from the Super League's perspective. A lot of fans said they weren't going to support their clubs anymore if their club got moved to the Super League. Liverpool fans were threatening to go to Everton. That's how bad it was. And, you know, they realized that if fans come to these games, they're going to lose money creating this league, and then they're not allowed to back into the Premier League and all that. They would have to be relegated and start over to work their way back up to where they were. And so they didn't want that to happen. But Real Madrid are still in this, but all in all, it's all over because they're not going to get anybody else to join. So it's all done. They're back out of it here in the next, am I guessing, the next week or so. That's pretty much the gist.
Andrew, thank you for explaining that way better than I ever could. And with that said, now we got to hear some. Does it necessarily? Before today, she couldn't even tell you who any of these teams were. No. Of course, she's not. Like I said, the only thing she really knows is Dodger baseball and a few MLB teams and the sport of baseball. Pretty good. She's actually pretty good at baseball. She knows good terms. We talk about we should have a show where we talk about terms and she can see if she knows them or not. That'd be a lot of fun. But with that said, babe, let's turn to you now. When I was explaining to you earlier today, this league, and, you know, that, like, these teams are trying to get more competition and everything like that, what was, I mean, of course, I want you to say your initial reaction to this was.
Oh, okay. Well, Larry first explained it. I was for it, because knowing that, you know, after a while, I would think that it would just get boring to, you know, win the same, against the same team all the time. And they're looking for more of a competition. It's just like getting into a routine, basically doing your everyday things in your life, and it's just all repetition, and you just kind of get tired of doing the same things over and over. So they probably just want to face, you know, another team that is worth competing against, because they know that the other team would fight back on them, and it's worth playing. So, I mean, I kind of understood their perspective in that way in the beginning. Until, yeah.
Then we called Andrew, and he started explaining all the money stuff, and she was like, oh my gosh, you're right. But it's the truth. So, I mean, you can totally understand, because let's just be real. And I was showing Cecilia earlier, like right now, the leagues. I mean, seriously, y'all, I've said it so many times on the Defining Moment, which will be coming back next week, by the way. I've said it so many times on the Defining Moment, that it's honestly, like, don't get me wrong, I love soccer, and I love European soccer, like, it's cool and all, but guys, let's just be real. If you put $100 down on PSG, you're not going to win much more, because if they win, because it's like everybody put $100 on PSG, like, it's a no-brainer. Whoop-de-freaking-do. Who's going to challenge them, Leon? Wow. Okay, Lily. Okay, cool. Monaco? Maybe. Who's going to challenge... okay, maybe in the Premier League there's a few teams that can challenge each other. Manchester United, Man U, Arsenal. Chelsea hasn't really been this monster that they were previously. Liverpool, they barely won their first title, and who knows how long. I forgot, a couple of years ago or last year, whenever it was. So let's just be real. Man United has ran the dang thing for a long time, so it's almost, you know, they're a little less predictable. In City, Juventus has, of course, dominated. Inter Milan, my team, of course, AC Milan. You know those teams are going to be near the top, and they're going to get down. It's like literally not even worth watching La Liga, because you already know it's going to be between Barcelona or Real Madrid. Atletico gets in there a little bit, but let's just be real. The real thing is El Clasico, you know, and it's like, it's just, it literally does kind of suck when we're getting close to April, or we're in April, we're getting close to May, and it's like the champion was already decided in freaking March. I mean, I get it. And then the Champions League is awesome, because I think that's where they get the idea. These teams get a chance to play each other in the Champions League, but then guess what happens? You know, we have some great games, of course, and then everything's great, but I can see where they got the concept, like, well, yeah, let's get the super teams and, of course, you know, make some money on it. So, overall, okay, so, Andrew, play, you know, a little bit on the other side. Do you see where Cecilia was coming from, of why she liked the idea, of course, before? Because I told her, if the Raiders, which they're not good, but if the Raiders are really good, and there was more football leagues around the Americas over here, and they pulled out to join some Super League, or if the Dodgers pulled out, like, I wouldn't really support them, because I'm like, that's crap. Like, you guys are going to let go of the NFL, you're going to let go of the MLB and the tournament that we have, just so you can play with all these other big-time teams. Like, you know, like, Cecilia was like, I'm for it, but then, you know, I understand where she's coming from, because she was like, well, it's more competition, but at the same exact time, you're killing the Freeway series with the Angels. You're not going to play that no more. You're killing the Giants series.
Well, I was also thinking, too, that they could probably play both, though. Like, somehow manage to, you know, play with the people that would, you know...
Their rivals?
Yeah, well, not fight, but compete well enough, you know, that they're fighting. But also play with the previous teams that they used to play with as well.
So play in the Super League and in their domestic league?
Yeah.
Okay, well...
So actually, that was the original plan for these super teams, actually. So the first day when they were talking about this, the main goal and the main plan was, the Super League games were going to be midweek, so like on a Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday, kind of like the Champions League. Those games are on a Tuesday and Wednesday. And then they would play their normal league games on the weekends, like Saturdays and Sundays, like they always do. But UEFA said, no, if you want to create a Super League and disband from the Premier League or whatever, or say like, hey, listen, we want to create a Super League, then we're just going to kick you out of the Premier League. We're going to kick you out of La Liga permanently. And you won't be able to play against West Ham anymore, or Sheffield United anymore, or Elche anymore. You won't be able to play those teams anymore because you wanted to leave. That we're not gonna let you stay and play the other teams. We're just gonna forcibly kick you out, no matter what.
So it's basically
the original.
Sorry.
So basically, like what you said, it was like your plan. Play in the league, play in these little domestic cups, try and do it regularly, but add in the Super League games.
Yeah.
But they said, no way. If you're going to do this, you're just playing Super League teams only. So have fun playing Real Madrid 6 times a year, 10 times a year.
Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, what do you think about that, babe?
Yeah, basically it's either, do it their way or it's the highway. They can't have best of both worlds, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I think that's good for those domestic leagues. Because if I was the MLB or the NFL, I'd be like, yeah, kick rocks Raiders, kick rocks Dodgers. Like, you know what? You don't want to play with us no more? Then screw you guys. Go, yeah, that's right. Have fun playing in your stupid Super League and we don't freaking need you. Like, seriously, I'd get mad at that. I really would, because that's not freaking cool. That's horrible. And you've heard so many interviews. This is disgusting, and betrayal, and the word greed just echoed through all those YouTube videos I watched that talk about this league. I mean,
I guess I can understand the other side too. It would probably, it would make them feel like, if some people took it personally, they'd probably feel like, well, dang, like they're basically saying that we're not worth competing against them, that we're not worth playing against, that we're nobody, basically.
What do you think of that, Andrew?
I wholeheartedly agree, because if you were to look at the Premier League table now, look at who's in 3rd place, look at who's in 5th place. You'll see Leicester City, West Ham. Look at, 5 years ago when Leicester City won the title, when they just got promoted as a new team to the Premier League? You'll never see that ever again. And they had to go through, obviously, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham, the big teams, to get to that point. And they've been good ever since, because they're constantly making Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and stuff like that. But all that amazing stuff, it's like us watching March Madness when you see a 16 seed beat a 1 seed. It's like taking those 1 seeds out and being like, okay, the 1 seeds are guaranteed this. Have fun. The 16 seeds playing the 15 seeds now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fun anymore.
It wouldn't.
It'd be boring.
And hats off to UMBC, by the way, who won that thing versus Virginia a couple of years back. But what a job for Virginia to come back and win the freaking whole thing the next year. So with that said, man, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for this segment. But, brother, tell us, man, what are your final thoughts on this league? And why would you, why were you against it? I think we all were for a certain reason. But what do you think should happen now, man? Sanctions for those teams? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. We froze a little bit. What do you think should happen now, man? Sanctions for these teams. Cecilia was saying, well, maybe they shouldn't be sanctioned because they came back. But then again, they betray everybody, and then they came back like, oh, my bad, we're just kidding. Because UEFA said, yeah, none of your players can play in the World Cup no more. You guys can't compete in UEFA no more. Like your players, of course, involved with these organizations, with these teams. Talk to us, Andrew. Last but not least, do you think these teams should be penalized for what they did, or have they already learned enough with the humility they faced in the last week? Barcelona and Real Madrid are kicking and screaming right now. Should there be sanctions for them? Should there be any type of punishments? What do you think, Andrew? Talk to us and tell us what you think should happen at this point.
Oh, absolutely. There should be sanctions. My big thing was, and I think I posted on Twitter, I don't know if I did or not. If not, then I'll do it later on. But I personally said that what should happen is the teams involved, let's say the Big Six of the Premier League, they should get relegated all the way to League Two, which is the 4th tier of English soccer, which basically is the start of professional soccer in England. They should get all of those 6 teams should get relegated to there, and they should get their points docked. So Man City would not win the league this year. Their points should get docked some, and all the owners of those clubs should be given hefty fines for trying to basically destroy the game of soccer. And I think sanctions should happen. I think fines should happen, and I think points should be deducted from these teams that were involved.
Andrew, right now in the UEFA Champions League, 4 teams remain, and we have 2 semifinals per team because we have legs, and then we have, of course, the championship coming up. 3 of those 4 teams are all involved in this, and PSG is the only one who kept their nose clean. Andrew, should all those teams be disqualified, and should PSG just be handed the title of this year?